While NASCAR struggles to fill seats and keep viewers tuned in, a YouTuber from Florida with a mullet and a dream is doing what billion-dollar racing organizations can't, making motorsports exciting again. This is Cleetus McFarland, and he might just be the most important person in American motorsports right now. Let's start with some uncomfortable truths about NASCAR. The Daytona 500, NASCAR's crown jewel, has lost more than half its audience in just over a decade. In 2013, 16.65 million people watched. By 2024, that number dropped to just over 8 million. That's not a decline, that's a free fall. But it's not just TV ratings. Walk into any NASCAR race today, and you'll see something heartbreaking. Empty seats stretching as far as the eye can see. Tracks that once hosted 150,000 screaming fans now struggle to fill 50,000. So what happened? NASCAR made a fatal mistake. They forgot what made people fall in love with racing in the first place. They sanitized everything. Gone were the rough-and-tumble drivers who spoke their minds. Gone were the mechanical battles, where teams could actually innovate. Everything became corporate, controlled, predictable. The car of tomorrow looked like a brick. The playoff format confused longtime fans. And the racing? Well, when your cars are so aero-dependent that passing becomes nearly impossible, you've lost the plot entirely. The numbers don't lie. NASCAR's average viewership dropped 5% in 2023 alone. Even with mixed results in 2024, the trend is clear. Traditional motorsports media is dying. But while NASCAR boardrooms were figuring out how to squeeze more corporate dollars out of fewer fans, something incredible was happening in a small town in Florida. Meet Garrett Mitchell, better known as Cleetus McFarland. What started as a character from a 90-second YouTube video in the early 2010s has become the most influential voice in American motorsports. 4.3 million YouTube subscribers. That's more than most NASCAR races get in viewership these days. But here's the kicker. Cleetus didn't build this audience by playing it safe. In 2020, he bought a defunct racetrack in Florida and turned it into the Freedom Factory. While NASCAR was canceling races due to COVID, Cleetus was throwing epic events that people actually wanted to attend. His content is everything NASCAR isn't: authentic, unpredictable, and genuinely exciting. No corporate sponsors dictating what he can say. No sanitized personalities reading from PR scripts. Just pure, unfiltered passion for going fast. Crown Victoria endurance races. Mullet competitions with actual racing. Jet car runs that make Top Fuel look tame. This is the motorsports content that actually gets people excited. Look at his comment sections. These aren't passive viewers. They're engaged fans planning trips to Florida, buying merchandise, and most importantly, falling in love with motorsports for the first time. And now, he's not just creating content about racing. He's actually racing. ARCA Menard Series, heading toward NASCAR. But here's what's brilliant. He's bringing his 4.3 million followers with him. Here's the stat that should terrify NASCAR executives. Their average viewer is 58 years old. Cleetus McFarland's audience? Predominantly 18 to 34. He's not just stealing NASCAR's viewers. He's creating an entirely new generation of motorsports fans. But how is he doing it? First, he speaks their language. While NASCAR is still figuring out social media, Cleetus creates content that's designed to go viral. Those 30-second clips of his cars launching off jumps? That's how you hook Gen Z. He bridges the gap between virtual and real racing. Kids who grew up playing Forza and Gran Turismo see Cleetus doing in real life what they've been doing on their PlayStations. He makes the connection between gaming and actual motorsports that NASCAR completely missed. Unlike NASCAR surface-level coverage, Cleetus actually teaches people about cars. His audience learns about turbochargers, suspension setups, and engine builds. They're not just watching racing. They're learning to become gearheads themselves. Look at his comment sections. I never cared about cars until I found this channel. Going to my first drag race because of Cleetus. Started working on cars after watching Freedom Factory videos. This is organic fan conversion that marketing departments dream of. And they're not just watching, they're spending money. Freedom Factory events sell out with crowds that look nothing like typical NASCAR demographics. Young, diverse, genuinely excited about being there. What Cleetus understands that NASCAR doesn't is that young people don't want to be talked at. They want to be part of the conversation. Every video feels like hanging out with friends who happen to have really cool cars. He shows the failures alongside the victories. When something breaks, when a build doesn't work, when he makes mistakes, he shows it all. Young audiences grew up with authentic content creators, not polished corporate messaging. They can smell fake from a mile away. Unlike NASCAR drivers who are surrounded by security and PR handlers, Cleetus is genuinely accessible. Fans can meet him at events, suggest build ideas that actually get made, and feel like their voices matter in the content creation process. He's part of the broader DIY culture that resonates with younger generations. The same kids who customize their gaming setups and modify their phones are now getting interested in modifying cars because Cleetus makes it look achievable and fun. His content strategy is multi-platform in a way NASCAR never mastered. YouTube for long-form content, Instagram for highlights, TikTok for viral moments. He meets young fans where they already are instead of expecting them to come to traditional racing broadcasts. Most importantly, he's built a community, not just an audience. Young fans organize meetups, share their own car builds inspired by his content, and create their own racing-related content. He didn't just gain viewers, he created a movement. When Cleetus made his ARCA debut, something unprecedented happened. Young people who had never watched oval racing before were suddenly tuning in. His racing streams brought hundreds of thousands of viewers to a series that typically struggles for attention. The engagement numbers tell the story. His race streams generate more social media interaction than most NASCAR Cup Series races. Comments, shares, reactions, all from an audience that traditional motorsports had written off as not interested in racing. He's proven the model works, and others are following. Automotive YouTubers are buying racetracks, organizing events, and building their own racing communities. This isn't just about one person, it's about a fundamental shift in how motorsports content is created and consumed. NASCAR and other racing series are scrambling to adapt, partnering with influencers, and trying to replicate Cleetus' success. But they're missing the point. You can't just add YouTubers to your existing broken formula and expect it to work. Meanwhile, Cleetus continues expanding his racing empire. Multiple tracks, different racing series, merchandise that actually sells. He's building the infrastructure for a new kind of motorsports entertainment that puts fans first. If current trends continue, we might be looking at a future where grassroots, creator-driven motorsports events draw larger audiences than traditional racing series. And those audiences will be younger, more engaged, and more willing to spend money on the sport they love. NASCAR spent decades trying to become mainstream and lost their soul in the process. Cleetus McFarland stayed true to what makes motorsports exciting and accidentally created the blueprint for the sport's future. While NASCAR wonders where their next generation of fans will come from, Cleetus is creating them daily. Kids who never cared about racing are now building their own cars, attending races, and falling in love with the sport, just not the corporate version of it. He's not just a YouTuber who got lucky. He's a legitimately talented driver who understands both sides of the equation, entertainment value and genuine racing skill. That combination is exactly what motorsports needs. The truth about NASCAR's fall and Cleetus McFarland's rise isn't just about one sport or one creator. It's about what happens when passion meets authenticity in an age where audiences can smell corporate BS from a mile away. NASCAR can learn from this, or they can keep wondering why their grandstands are empty, while some guy with a mullet in Florida is building the future of American motorsports, one YouTube video at a time. What do you think? Is Cleetus really saving motorsports? Or is there something else NASCAR could do to win back young fans? Let me know in the comments below.